What's going on, YouTube? It's me, MT. And you may or may not be able to tell this, I'm under the weather. It's a little hard for me to enunciate. My throat hurts. But hey, that wouldn't stop me from completing my book of the month, Foundation and Empire, the sequel to the already amazing Foundation. And it's not that I had to do this video right now. There's no obligating factor. There's not even in my challenge did I say, oh, I'm going to do every video within the month. That's not true. But, I grabbed this, my bookmark. I'm using a Sega Saturn printout for my bookmark. I'm so excited to talk about this book. It was really good. Like, I read 132 pages today. And yes, I was kind of rushing it to get the book done, but at the same time, it was really, really good. And I think this is so important when talking about a sequel. Because, first off, even if you're just talking about a trilogy, especially with books, you have to know if those books are worth reading. Not just the first one, not just the third one, but every book from the first one to the third one. And so that's really why I wanted to do this video today, to let you know exactly why this book is worth reading. So let's just do a brief recap. The premise of the original Foundation was that all of the achievements of humanity were threatened by its future. And with the help of a number of scientists and a main psychohistorian who could prophesy the future, Harry Seldon, that crisis could be prevented. Well, not totally, but at the least reduced to a smaller time span, and humanity could come out stronger. And so that first book was all about preventing the crises, all through Seldon's plan. And each of the sections of that book was dedicated to an episode or a crisis. And humanity naturally followed its course through the Foundation to prevent that crisis from happening. It was really deep. I really like it on a historical level, you know, tying in the themes of Dark Ages and Renaissance. I don't know my European history too well, but that's what it reminds me of. I like the idea of imperialism and fighting back against colonies. That was really cool. Let me read you the premise for this book. It's just real short. Led by its founding father, the psychohistorian Harry Seldon, and taking advantage of its superior science and technology, the Foundation has survived the greed and barbarism of its neighboring warrior planets. Yet now it must face the Empire. Still the mightiest force in the galaxy, even in its death throes, when an ambitious general determined to restore the Empire's glory turns the vast Imperial fleet toward the Foundation. The only hope for the small planet of scholars and scientists lies in the prophecies of Harry Seldon. But not even Harry Seldon could have predicted the birth of the extraordinary creature called the Mule, a mutant intelligence with a power greater than a dozen battle fleets. A power that... I actually just cut out that last part because I thought that was a bit of a spoiler. So when you see this video, you're going to see a cut. I never do cuts, but I don't want to spoil the big thing about this book. Because the Mule really steals the show. The book is broken into two parts, and it is still largely concerned with the original premise of preserving the Foundation. And these are two more crises. So I kind of like that the book is a little more, I don't want to say focused, but it's focused. It has two sections. It doesn't have four. And it goes into more detail about each of these episodes, the General and the Mule. So I don't feel after reading it that both of those sections are like super tied. I don't think that you have to understand every detail that happened in the first part of the book to understand the second part. But what I like about this book is that as a narrative, it builds up so much suspense. Like, it actually has you feeling a little bit of doubt about the Hari Seldon prophecy. So, the natural inclination is to believe the prophecy is set. It's going to hold true because it was based on psychohistory. And both of these events, I don't want to tell you if they do or do not turn it on its head. It's the question behind this book. How much can you trust psychohistory to prevent crises? And of course, psychohistory is kind of this made-up thing that is established in the book. It's the science fiction of it. But the entire first book, you could count on psychohistory paving the way. In this book, even the denizens of the galaxy are questioning the psychohistory. And the mule is a mutant. And you may have this vision of mutant as like deformed creature, slime, I don't know. That was my inclination. But the book never tells you about the mutant. Maybe never is not the right word, but you don't get a clear picture of the mutant for a good while. And that is where the suspense is. The suspense is going through this journey, not through so many of the war heroes or any of that, but through the Outlanders and discovering different parts of the galaxy through them. And one of the amazing things about this book is that it actually had me going back to the first book to make sure I followed the events, because you do see some lineage. I didn't do it too often, but just especially in the first part. In the second part, what I loved is all of the wow moments. Like, I would stop reading and I just, whoa! Like, that happened 3 times in the last 100 pages that I read today. How many will you have? I promise you this series is shaping up to be something amazing. It's definitely living up to its reputation. If you are looking for a solid series to commit to in science fiction, this book was written in 1952. I don't know his age when he wrote this, but I tell you, it hasn't aged a day. And it really feels fresh. I like it. I like it so much. It's like it's relevant even today. And especially if you like the history, if you like studying history, you want like a fictional take on it, this is a cool projection of what history would look like many thousands of years from now. So that's it. I highly recommend not Second Foundation. That's in the other room. That's the third book. You'd think it's the second, but I highly recommend Foundation and Empire, but you have to read the first one. I promise you. Read the first one, read this one, and I will tell you about the third one. MT, loving my books. Hope you love yours. See you next time.